Hello friends, I'm Naren, your host. In this video, we're gonna talk about Jenkins Shared Library. Shared Library, it's really a great feature in Jenkins to avoid duplication, maintain your code. Okay. Before we talk about what is Jenkins Shared Library, we want to understand what kind of problems Jenkins Shared Library is resolve. When as a DevOps, when you are writing a pipeline, there are many places where you are writing a duplicate codes. When you are working a very big project, then there is a possibility that you have many microservices, and each microservices have a Jenkins file. So meaning you are rewriting a duplicate code in each Jenkins file. Now, this writing a duplicate code is not a problem, but when there is some changes in your code, then you have to change your code in all the microservices. So this is the problem. To avoid this problem, Jenkins come up with a solution called shared library. So what is Jenkins shared library? Shared library is a way to write a reusable code, version control. You can control your code using any SCM version control system. Modular code, you can write a module based code in the shared library, and then you can use the shared library and share share your libraries in multiple repository or multiple Jenkins files. So uh, this is about the Jenkins Share Library. Now we are going to see how you can configure a shared library configuration in the Jenkins, and how you can write a pipeline where you can use shared library in the pipeline. So let's move on to the VM and where we can see the demo. So now I am in my VM demo. Okay, before let's open I already installed the Jenkins master in this machine, so let's open my Jenkins, and we have a username admin and the password, and we can log in. So this is the Jenkins dashboard without configure anything. Now let's configure a shared pipeline first. Okay, and then we will talk about the shared pipeline project structure. So we have a system, go to manage setting, and then you can go to the system configuration. In this system configuration, search library, and then you can see a global trusted pipeline library. Here you can add the configuration. Now it will ask a few details like name, default version. Name can be anything, but better you can give your repository name, so it is easy to remember. And the default version is nothing but your branch name, or if you have a specific tag name, and then you can use it, this one. And there are few settings here. You can keep this setting default, and then you have to configure your Git repository. So I have already created a Git repository here in my DevOps Learning Circle organization. You can go here on the repository, and then you can, this is the uh, Jenkins Shared Library demo repository for your reference. So now let's copy this name, and then we can configure here on the name section, and the branch should be master. Now we have to configure the source code management settings here. So you can go to the HTTP settings, we click on the code, and then there is an HTTP settings, and you can copy these settings, then place it here, and you have to create a username. That username can access the your Git repository. I have already created one username for myself. If you do not have, you can click on the add button and follow the credential creation diagram. Now we can choose this and then save it. So once you save, and then we will verify whether the setting is saved successfully or not saved, because since when we are click on the save button, it will be uh, get the last commit from the git repo. So we have to check this git last commit is there or not. So we can go, you can see the currently mapped to revision this. So if you will see this has commit, that means your configuration of the git successfully done. So now this is, we have successfully configured the Jenkins with Jenkins Shared Library. Okay, now we have to create a job or a pipeline job which can, where we can use the shared library in our pipeline. But before we are going to use, let's open the terminal, and this I have a folder called Narayan. Here I already cloned the Jenkins shared library demo. Let's open it code editor. So now you can see this is, we have a shared library, and if you can refer the readme file, then shared library have, it's more like a project which have a pre-structure that you can follow. So we have a var folder. In the var folder you can write down a single function related code, meaning like when you are writing hello world in this notation, for example, this is nothing but a groovy file which is executing, it's more like a file name, but it's in the shared library concept, it looks like it's a function name like hello world, hello world, hello world, and this is the function name, right? So when you are writing when you are using this hello world functions, when you are using this hello world shared library function, you can, in your pipeline you have to define hello world in this notation. Then uh, the code defined in this file will get executed. So if you have similar kind of requirement, you can go with a single function by creating file name as a by creating a same file as a function name. Okay, and in addition we have a source folder. This is nothing but a place where you can keep your groovy classes files, more like a structured way. You can, for example, I have created a util.groovy. For example, here we have a util class. Inside the util class we have a get build info static function which will help you to get the build number and a branch name if you set the branch name in the environment of your pipeline or a global environment. um, Apart from that, we have the resource folder. Resource folder is more like a folder where you can use a configuration files, shell script, bash script, or a PowerShell script, or something else related to the configure, but it is non-code activity. So more like you can see I have a shell script, a very simple shell script that can just print a message on the console. Apart from that, like, this shared library is isolated. We do not include any pipeline jobs here. But if you have a requirement that you wanted to create a shared library together with pipeline jobs, you can add one more folder here, like let's say jobs, and then your pipeline, like pipeline one, and then you can go for like this way. But I suggest you should not create a pipeline inside the shared library. Better you can create the pipeline inside your other repository, since you have to create a Jenkins file to create the pipeline. So every repository should have one Jenkins file, and that repository is referring your shared library. Apart from that, I also have a simple pipeline script that we are using. This pipeline is using the shared library functions defined here. So now you can see there are basically two ways to including the shared library in, or more like importing the library in the pipeline. So one way is you can use the at library notation and mention your pipe shared pipeline name which we have configured in the Jenkins. Make sure that your this name and the name you configured in the Jenkins should be same. And then it's a simple pipeline. We have a pipeline section, as in we wanted to build it on any pipeline, and then we are writing the stage. And here you can see the greeting is a function. It's a function, but actually this function get executed from this file. Under the var folder we have the greeting file, greeting.groovy file. This file is nothing but is a function that we are calling here. Okay, so when you are call greet passing the name, it will call directly the call function, and then name parameter is get initialized, and then we are printing a simple message hello. If you provide the name, we can use that name and then printing the message. And then in the second step, like we have a build info, and then we are getting, as you can see, I import the util class using the import statement, which is pretty much correct. Okay, and then I am using utils and then the function name, and this function name will get executed from this class. Now in the second on the third stage, we are executing a test.sh script from the resource folder. So you can see there is a function called library resource, which you have to pass the path of your resource folder, and this way this library resource will read this test file, get this contain object, and then we are using a write file to writing a test.sh file from the content of the file that we are received from this file, and then set the proper permission, because this is the shell script, so we have to give the execute permission if we want to execute this script in the machine. So here we have the shell this is how you can run the shell script. Now this is the pipeline one. So let's copy the code, and we are going to create our simple pipeline one. Let's say we give the name sample pipeline 1, and you can select the pipeline and press OK. Keep all the setting defaults. We are going to use this script pipeline script options. You can choose pipeline script, or you can choose the second option, pipeline script from SCM, meaning you stored your pipeline in the SCM, maybe in your repository where you specify Jenkins file, and then you are defining the pipeline code in the Jenkins file. So when you select this option, you have to provide your repository URL, and also need to tell where is your Jenkins file pipeline, where is your Jenkins pipeline file. Okay, so but in this video we gonna use pipeline script. So let's paste the code. Now we have the paste code. Let's save it and right click, open in another tab. Let me run the my first simple pipeline job. Now let's refresh. It's failed. That's great, it's failed. So let's check why it's failed. It's saying that something, the function greeting. Oh, there is a I believe it's a typo here, so we have to fix this typo. We have not GREA, it should be GREE. Let's save it and then we are building again. Let's see, this time it seems it's building and the job builds successfully. Now you can see when we are running hello world stage, then you can see we have a proper message coming from the shared library. And then the second stage is build info. We are getting the build number 2 because the first is failed, so now the build number is 2. Branch is null, meaning we do not have the branch environment variable. That's why the branch is null. And then in the resource in the third steps that we are running a script from resource folder, it will be, you can see we are changing the permission of the test.sh and then we are running this, so you can see running a script from the resource folder. This is the message that our test script has. So this is how it's working, and apart from that I also want to show you the sample pipeline too. In this pipeline we are not importing our shared library using the @library sign. Okay, and one more thing, in in this line you can see there is an underscore after this line, so make sure you have use this underscore. It's not a typo, but we need this underscore in order to working with the library function, @library function. Now let's go back to the pipeline 2. As you can see, we are not using at the library function, but instead we are still using library function, but inside the script section. So this is another way you can use the Jenkins Shared Library, but this time you can remember, you can see we are using this function and then we are also passing the package, because here we have the util class. So you can see we're getting this package on the lib folder and then in the lib.util, right? So this is how you can use this uh, second option of the Jenkins Share library in your pipeline. And the rest of the code is same, so let's try to copy this code and create another job where we can see how the second option is working. Simple pipeline 2, and you can hit the pipeline and then okay. Now keep the default setting as usual as we said, and let's say paste the pipeline. We can save the pipeline and then in the new tab we are going to run the pipeline. So let's build, and there is a problem in the Jenkins. I don't know why it's not showing, but let's refresh. So the build is passed. So let's go to the build, check in the console. We can see here this is our first stage. Then it's printing the message, hello Naren, welcome to the Jenkins Shared Library. This is our second stage where we have a build in front name of this is the name of the stage. In this stage, we are getting the build number and the branch from the util class. And in the third stage, we are reading the file or executing a shell script from the resource folder. So this is all about the Jenkins Shared Library. Friends, if you like my video, please hit the like button and subscribe button. If you have any question, something that is not clear, I strongly recommend you can add the comment. Use the comment section. This is the free feature in YouTube where you can directly communicating with me by writing a comment or writing your suggestion, your question, your query, whatever. Thanks again. Thank you for watching my video. Have a great day.